tonight? Would you say amen?
Amen.
Can we sing, we have come into his house and gathered in his name to worship him. We have come into his house and gathered in his name to worship him. We have come into his house and gathered in his name to worship Christ the Lord. Oh, worship him, Christ the Lord. Would you stand with me? Let's sing this. So forget about yourself and concentrate on him and worship him. So forget about yourself and concentrate on him and worship him. So forget about yourself and concentrate on him and worship Christ the Lord. Oh, let's worship him, Christ the Lord. Now let's sing this. So let us lift up holy hands and magnify his name and worship him. Let us lift up holy hands and magnify his name and worship him. Let us lift up holy hands and magnify his name and worship Christ the Lord. Oh, let's worship him, Christ the Lord. Well, praise God. Listen, I want to tell you, I think my list of people to pray for gets longer every day. And, you know, there's a lot of people going through a lot of rough stuff. You know that? And I'm a fixer, or at least I try to be. I'm not a very good one a lot of the times, but I try to be. And I just thought, Lord, what can we do? What should we do? We're going to pray. You know, tonight to close this service, we're really going to pray. But I thought, is there a congregational song that we can sing that maybe will encourage someone's heart? Maybe someone watching tonight. I know several that are not here that are tuned in. And I thought, what song in the hymnal would be a song of healing, a song of faith? And I found one that you might know, you might not know. Lee has heard it. But I want you to take your Sing to the Lord songbook. And we used to sing this, my sisters and I did, as a special song. But not as a congregational, but it's in this book, 564, in the Sing to the Lord songbook. Here's what the first verse says. Have fear and doubt come against your mind? Has your faith been sorely tried? Lift up your eyes. Here cometh your help. It is Jesus. For you he has died. Rise and be healed in the name of Jesus. Let faith arise in your soul. Rise and be healed in the name of Jesus. He will cleanse and make you whole. Here's the second verse. If by faith you reach out to him, he will meet your every need. He will respond to the cry of your heart. He will touch you and set you free. I believe that tonight, don't you? So if you know it, sing along. If you don't, just mouth the words. And maybe by the end of the song, you will know it. Let's sing it together. God, we need you to encourage us tonight. There's people carrying heavy, heavy burdens. Lots of problems. Loved ones in the hospital, gravely ill. Situations, circumstances that are driving us crazy. Lord, we live in such a surreal time that it seems like we live in an odd time. And we wonder, Lord, when will it ever end? Oh God, we're glad you're eternal in your existence. And that every situation in life is a season, but with you, you dwell in eternity. And none of this catches you by surprise. So Lord, we need you to encourage us tonight. Lift our spirits and help us and talk to our hearts. Lord, we pray for our online audience tonight. God, there are people tuned in who are struggling badly. Oh God, help them tonight, I pray. Lift their spirit. Encourage them, I pray, for Jesus' sake. And help us to lean on you, Jesus. Help us to trust you tonight. Move in our midst in this service, I pray, and help us. God, we depend on you. Lord, we can't make it without your help. We haven't read enough books. We don't know enough. We don't have enough wisdom. We're not smart enough. As Pastor Grimion used to say, we're barely smart enough to get it out of the rain. God, we need you tonight, and we're trusting you to help us. So have your perfect will and way in this service, I pray. God, you're touching our hearts right now. And we thank you. Continue to minister to us tonight. In every part of this service, be glorified, I pray. In Jesus' name I pray, and all God's people said. Amen. You may be seated. Well, we've got a few on vacation, but we got a good crowd of young people tonight to sing. Yes, you've got your hand up. Do you have a question, bro? Okay, you really had to rub that in that you're going to be in Florida next Wednesday night? Did you have to tell us that? You all sing. If you'd like to hear the kids' choir sing, would you say amen? Amen. Amen. Okay, Florida-bound people, sing. You need a mic? Anybody need Pastor Don's mic? There you go. that right? Man, he said he was okay, but if I was walking around with that pain, it would hurt really bad. If you enjoyed that, would you say amen? Amen. Trina, thank you for your help. You know, Brother Hires, I came up with an idea. Not to say that any testimonies have ever gotten out of hand. Not to say that they have. But just in case they ever do get out of hand, I think I could go like this right here. You know? Because that means stop, doesn't it? I didn't realize that till they did that tonight. So you know, folks, if you think you go like this, maybe maybe it means the testimony's getting out of hand. No, I'm kidding. Well, let's have some testimonies tonight. Brother Anderson and Brother Hires, if you'll help me. I'm still rejoicing in the way the Lord helped us Sunday night. A few of you jokingly said, boy, we had a great service, no preaching. Heard that before. But it was a good service, and the Lord helped us. So who'd like to be the first to testify? Kathy, God bless you.
The other night that you were speaking about, the song was, I think, played. Maybe we even sang it, I'm not sure. Great is Thy Faithfulness, my absolute most favorite song. I have it on my piano as a framed picture kind of thing. And that's always what I feel, is that God's faithfulness is just something I treasure. We sang tonight, Rise and Be Healed, but just across the page was, He has never failed me yet. And to me, that kind of goes hand in hand. If it weren't for His faithfulness daily, I'm not sure how I could keep it together.
That's right.
I love Him tonight.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Brother Terry?
Amen. I like that song, God is still on the throne. He will take care of His own.
Amen.
That's so reassuring the day we're living in. And I've had some close encounters, and the Lord has seen me through all of them, so I'm going to thank Him for that. And, we just never know what lies ahead, so we just have to put our trust in Him. Praise the Lord.
Amen. Bro, I don't know where you got that shirt, but I like it. Brother Gene?
Well, I really appreciate the service Sunday evening. It was such a blessing to me.
Amen.
God came and met with us, and I love Him, and I'm just thankful for the day He saved me. May 29, 1959, to Troy Camp meeting, for the Victor Glenn was advances there. So
wow.
I had some things I had to make right, but Dad was praying, so if you promise the Lord you'll do it, He'll take you on credit. It took me several months to get these things made right, but I love Him and I want to serve Him.
Praise God. Thank the Lord. Brother Bob?
It's great to be in God's house tonight. Always enjoy Wednesday night service.
Amen.
We had wonderful Sunday services. And then Monday, Lord give us traveling mercies, and we went down to Tennessee and was at the viewing of one of Pamela's cousins that died of COVID last weekend. And it was great to see everybody, but it may be my last trip down there, just down memory lane a little bit. And there's only one cousin still alive down there now. Of all the people over these last 40-something years that she used to go visit, where she used to play when she was little, it's all gone now. Just about another generation of people there, and it's not the same. But I love the Lord. I'm glad that we had a beautiful trip. It was a nice, the scenery was beautiful, and the Lord was good to us. And I just thank the Lord that He's keeping us safe, that we're enjoying our time together, and the Lord is good to us.
Amen. Amen. Who's next? We are off to a good start tonight. Sister Taylor. She wants somebody to testify. Go ahead, Sister Taylor.
Well, I want to encourage everybody who's praying for a loved one. God answers prayer. We had a miracle happen in the family.
Amen.
A niece, great niece that has been estranged from our side of the family has gotten to God. And I thank the Lord for that. We got to be with her this week, and it's a miracle, the change that has been wrought in her life. And I thank the Lord for that. I'm so glad that He still hears and answers prayers.
Praise God. Amen. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Who's next?
Brother Bates, my dad decided me to get up. I want to thank the Lord for the Ravens that fed us a couple Wednesdays after prayer meeting, my wife and I went to Kroger's, got our groceries, and probably had, I know it was over $100 worth of groceries. And when Pam went to pay it, the cashier said, it's been paid for. And she said, how's that? She said, that woman in front of you paid for your groceries. And so Pam, she hurried up and went out there to thank her. And she said, somebody bought my groceries last week, and I wanted to return the favor. Wow. So, God is good.
Amen. Amen.
I mean, she was a Afro-American lady that had 4 little babies, kids from 5 years down. And how in the world that her husband was played for the Colts or something, I don't know. But thank the Lord, He supplies our every need.
Amen. So what Kroger was that? How did you
We did go ahead and pay for the ladies' groceries behind us. Hers was only half a cart.
Oh, that's funny. All right, who's next? It's always a blessing, though, when someone does something like that every once in a while. Sister Lucy, help yourself.
I love the Lord tonight with all my heart. I heard today some awful news. It's really different when you hear about somebody else having COVID and dying with COVID. And you feel sad, and if they're saved and ready for heaven, then, I tend to just like, okay, Lord, that one's gone. But today, I met the bear. On the phone, I heard from a grandmother. Her son and daughter were in the hospital with COVID, and it left behind a daughter-in-law has COVID, 3 grandchildren have COVID, 4 great-grandchildren have COVID, and a great-great-grandbaby 1-year-old has COVID. And it just about blew me away. It's a family that we've known, the Catrins, that we've known them for years. They're just like part of our family. And Mary Beth had called me and said, Mom, Sharon's in the hospital, call Shirley. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm strong enough to call her. And after I talked to her, I'm like, you know what though? God reminded me that He is good. No matter what happens, God is good. And I can't lose my faith in grieving over a family of 15 that aren't even dead yet. It's like you get hit so hard. It's like I had to dig deep in my faith, in my belief that God is good. He knows what He's doing. I can't figure it out. Can you? But I just want to keep on trusting the Lord.
Amen.
Doing what I can do to help others make it to heaven. And I sure want to make it.
Amen. Amen. Brother Ronnie.
Brother Bates, I just want to thank the Lord for his unforeseen blessings and the things that He does for us. It's just a little over a year ago, the 1st of 2020, that I decided to make this my home. And not anything wrong with where I was at, but this is where God wanted us. And He has blessed us. I took a full-time job after being retired, or thought I was. And God has given me my health. I've been able to work every day. And unless I had something else going, I've got a funeral to do next week. And so I won't be working there, but I'll be working for the Lord then. He has blessed us over and over again with a job. And financially, I'm probably as best off today, and I'm not rich, so don't come saying anything. But He has blessed us so much. And I think it's because we followed Him and did exactly what He said to do. And we're doing it. And not only the material things He's done for us, but the spiritual blessings that He's given. Me and Verna praise every morning before I go to work. God came even this morning and blessed us and touched us
Praise God.
while we were there. And it's because we're trying to follow Him. I don't have a sad story for you today.
Praise
All
God.
I've got is God is good.
Amen.
And He is blessing the Romans family.
Praise
And
God.
I appreciate it and I love Him with all my heart.
Praise God. You know, if I remember correctly, we were doing, TV church, basically. And we had a little studio audience that sat up on the platform, and you were one of them. And the Lord got a hook in your jaw, didn't He, my brother? And that's kind of where it all began. Well, thank the Lord for TV church, amen? And boy, those were, I don't want to relive those days, but I want to say this. I'm grateful that God helped us have church in the middle of that. And, we tried to, you didn't know this because you were sitting at home tuned in, but I thought, and I didn't even go on this little tirade, but let me reminisce for just a moment. I thought my biggest fear was I realized that when people sit down and watch something, their attention span is about like this. And I thought, Lord, what can we do to keep people's attention? Because unfortunately, you can track how many people are watching. And, the last thing I wanted was 5 minutes into the sermon, Pastor Don, the numbers fell out of bed. And I thought, Lord, what can we do? And God just seemed to impress on my mind, try to keep the services to 45 minutes, try to schedule, plan it all. And we would meet over here and practice on Saturday nights and practice 2 or 3 songs. And then if you wanted to show up and someone suggested, you really ought to have them sitting up on the platform so you can see them to where it looks like you've got a little audience. And I think Roger and Donna were part of that. And Brother Bob, I think you were, and Ronnie Romans and a few others that were, you were back there. You were the producer. Produced by Michael Toms. That's what the services were. But when I think back about how trial and error that was, because we'd never been online here at Beech Grove Independent Nazarene Church until then. And then I'll say one more thing. Maybe this is my testimony tonight. Yeah. 15, 20 weeks before that, before COVID, before Pastor had retired, my sister Donetta called me and she said, we don't have a pastor. She said, is there any way you could preach to us and record it and send it to us so on Sunday mornings we could watch it? And I thought, I don't know. I've never done that. Last thing I wanted to do was be a TV preacher. And so John Powell and I started talking, and Bill Champion, we asked him, what can we do? And we created a Facebook page just for 3 people. John Powell, me, and my sister Donetta. And on Saturday nights, we'd meet here for prayer, and I'd bring a suit with me. And after we prayed, I'd put on a suit and a tie. And John Powell would set up, you talk about the Three Stooges at first. We had no idea what we were doing. And he'd set up the camera right here, right there. There's that blue light special. And I'd preach, I'd sing to him, and I'd greet him. I'd greet him as if I was pastoring that church. I'd say, because here's what they do. They would have their preliminaries, and then they would plunk the magic twanger, and I'd show up on a big screen. And I'd greet them and welcome them to church. And we did that for about 13 weeks. And little did we know that God was preparing us for COVID. Amen. And He used those experimental services, those poor people having to listen to me preach, to a camera. There wasn't anybody here except John Powell. And I'm preaching to a camera, and I'm pointing to a camera, and I got just as animated as I always did, and had a whole bunch of makeup on my face. I'm kidding. Brother Taylor's head just popped up like that right there. He wasn't paying attention till I said that. And then he went like this right here. But who would have ever dreamed that God knew what the future held? We didn't know. We didn't know that in just a week's time, we were going to have to improvise, or folks, we weren't going to be able to have church. And God was preparing us. You never know what the Lord is preparing you for, folks. You never know what God is going to use, because I want to promise you this. At the end of the day, God is always going to accomplish His purpose.
Amen.
Period. He is always going to accomplish His purpose. With or without us, He's going to accomplish His purpose. I just wanted to be with us. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. Help yourself, Sister Mary.
I love the Lord tonight, and I really appreciated that Sunday night service. This past Sunday night, with all the testimonies and everything.
And no preaching.
Great message.
Well, it was. I mean, every testimony was a message
Amen.
in my
Yes.
heart. And anyway, I love the Lord, and I had some good news today. I got to talk to my daughter-in-law, Charlotte, the one that has cancer so bad and her stomach's ate up with it, but she's at home. And the doctor gave her just 3 weeks from the time she left the facility to go home. Well, she's outlived that 3 weeks. And I got a chance to talk to her today, and she sounds so strong. And she sounds really good. And I said, Charlotte, honey, I said, you just keep on going. I said, everybody's been praying for you. And she said, I know. And you tell everyone I appreciate the prayers. Now, sometimes she's not quite in there, a little bit. But today she sounded like the old Charlotte. And it really lifted me up. Because I know God is helping her, but in His way. And I don't know how long she's got, only God knows. But I love the Lord. I love for how He's helping our family. And I want to make it to heaven. I want to take others with me.
Amen.
I love Him with all my heart.
Amen. Amen. Thank the Lord. Brother Roger.
First of all, I want to thank God for helping me through my procedure.
Amen.
Things went real well, and it's always good to know that God is near you and helping you. I'm amazed that God cares about the little things in our life too. Sometimes we all, I hear you say a lot of times you want to call Him and make that 911 call to God, but there's times that He cares about the little things.
That's right.
And it's not a big thing, but Donna and I our internet has not worked for 5 or 6 weeks. And we called AT&T and we said, we told them what was going on. So they said, well, we're having trouble in your area the first week and we're going to fix it. In 4 hours it'll be fixed. Well, a week later it still wasn't fixed. And so then they sent us a new router. And we went through everything for 5 weeks. And then our cell phone, my cell phone worked fine. Donna's, we actually, one day, she said, I just feel like throwing it in the trash. I just took it and threw it in the trash. She got it back out. But every time someone would call, it would drop the call. And mine was working okay, but Saturday, we were at Sister Ruby's party. A guy from AT&T came and he spent 3 hours at our house, 2 or 3 hours, told me everything was fixed. We went home after the party, nothing, again. And we were frustrated, to be honest. And so Sunday morning, I can remember we were sitting ready to come to church. And I said, let's just pray and ask God to send somebody that can help us. Because, I'm pretty illiterate on all this. But we had the experts come, they still couldn't fix it either. I go in and have the procedure Monday morning, and on the way home from the hospital, Monday afternoon, the phone rings, and the guy says, my name is Taylor, I'm from AT&T, and we have a new service that I'm going to come to your house, and I don't care if I have to stay all day. I'm not going to leave until I get you straightened out. And so he walked in at 9 o'clock Tuesday morning, and I looked at him and I said, you are an answer to prayer. after he fixed everything in just a short while. I said, you already answered a prayer. And he said, really? Tell me about it. I said, we prayed yesterday that God would send us somebody that could help us. And he said, you know what's funny? He said, I'm a Christian. I love God. My family loves God. He has 3 beautiful children. And he said, I get up every morning and I say, God, send me to the person that needs me the most today.
Amen.
And I just, we wept after he left just to think that God cares so much for us.
He sure does.
And even in those little things that
That's
seem so
right.
insignificant sometimes, he is there.
That's
And
right.
then tonight I'm sitting here and there's a song that we used to sing that says, when other friends seem to forget me, when skies are dark and hope seems gone, by faith I feel his arms around me and hear him say, you're not alone.
That's
My
right.
Jesus knows just what I need.
Amen.
He satisfies and every need supplies. My Jesus knows what I need.
Amen. Praise God. Brother George.
Well, I'm glad to be in church tonight, and the testimonies encouraged me. It seemed like I kind of get down, and I have a little problem with anxiety. I don't know if anybody else has that kind of problem, but I do. But I just know the Lord's able to help, and this church service tonight has been a great encouragement.
Praise
to me.
God.
And of course, Sunday night was the same thing. But I just thank the Lord that He does answer prayer.
Amen.
And we can look on the brighter side, and I just want to do that with the Lord's help.
Praise God. Sister Ruby.
First, I want to thank the Lord for 90 years and 1 day. And I didn't ask for that much time, but this is what He has allowed me to live, and I'm thankful for every day. Also want to thank everyone who sent me best wishes for my birthday. Mother used to say, give me the roses while I live, trying to cheer me on. Useless the flowers that you give after the soul is gone. And I felt like that I had a room full of roses, so many people there. I was so thankful for it, and I'm still rejoicing in it too. But then today I thought, well, you know, that's how the Lord feels. I just, you know, if we do our best, if we come or do something out of a heart of love, if we worship Him in spirit and in truth, that's how He feels. He rejoices over us.
Amen.
And I want to keep the Lord smiling. I do want to do His will. I'm falter and fail, but that song comes to me. He's my help in time of trouble. He's my best and my dearest friend.
Amen.
When I falter, then He whispers, child, be true. Though earth's trials may be many, still on Him I can depend. He just reaches down His hand and helps me through. And I love Him and thank Him.
Praise God. Thank the Lord. We have someone up here that was getting ready to get on their feet. I think you know this lady, Brother Harris.
Now, so I was thinking while Roger was testifying that this past week I read the book. It's called A Shepherd Looks at Psalm 23. And it was basically like that. It was just He cares about everything. But I think what stuck out the most is, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
Mm-hmm.
That He gives us not only what we need, but He'll give us everything that we want in Him, you know? And that we don't, he was saying how that there's nothing that makes a shepherd feel better than whenever he sees his sheep just laying down contented, and they've fed on the grass, they've had their water, you know, and He's taking care of them, and He sees them happy. And that's what He wants for us spiritually, that He wants us to just be resting in Him and know that He will give us anything that we need, and He cares.
Amen.
And I love Him. And He wants
Amen. Praise God. Praise God. Sister Gloria, I'm glad you're here tonight. The microphone's on its way.
I don't know, I didn't have one Sunday, I think people heard me. But I just want to praise Him. I tell you, I've been so troubled and everything, you know, that God just gave me that promise let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid.
Yes.
And I have rested on that. I tell you,
Praise
just
God.
that I finally able to get through to the nurse that's taking care of my son. And I said, will you be seeing him? She said, well, yes, I am taking care of him. She said he's in very, very critical condition. I said, would you just whisper in his ear that his mama loves him? Just tell him his mama loves him and is still praying. She said, I can do that. But I thought, dear Lord, you gave me a promise to hold on to. I don't, it's hard for Mom to be so far away. And I said, it wouldn't do me good to go to Georgia. I've had people tell me, I'll take you to Georgia. Donna said, we'll take you to Georgia. You want to go to Georgia? We'll take you to Georgia. What purpose? I can't see nobody. I can't see my sister, my daughter-in-law, or my son-in-law, my son, or my kids, or I can't see nobody. I can stay home and pray. And that's what I'm doing, and I'm resting on the promises of God.
Praise God.
I take these families that listening to Lucy and these families that have been so affected by this COVID that was created and allowed by our government. It just really gets to me. Because our government allowed this to happen to people in our country. And it just really is mind-boggling that they could go so far and now insisting, mandating that we get vaccines. You know what? The only vaccine I'm going to take is from my Lord. If he's got one for me, he can give it to me. Otherwise, it's not going to come in a needle. But I love him supremely, and I'm going to serve him for as long as he leaves me here.
Amen. You know what? We've had a couple songs that have been quoted. But can we sing this one? I'm glad I know who Jesus is. I'm glad I know who Jesus is. He's more than just a story. He is the King of glory. I'm glad I know who Jesus is. Can we sing one more time? Yes, I'm glad I know who Jesus is. I'm glad I know who Jesus is. He's more than just a story. He is the King of glory. I'm glad I know who Jesus is. Can we sing it one more time? Oh, I'm glad I know who Jesus is. I'm glad I know who Jesus is. He's more than just a story. He is the King of glory. I'm glad I know who Jesus is. Did I hear this? He's the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. He's the Counselor, Deliverer to me. He's the everlasting Father. He is the King of glory. I'm glad I know who Jesus is. Praise God. Amen. Praise God. Sister Betsy.
On the way to church on Sunday night, actually, I was thinking about the fact that although I know you do everything, sometimes I wish that we could sing more. And so when we had that service on Sunday night, I was just so thrilled because I'm a horrible singer, but I love good songs, I love good music. And recently on the way to school and back, I've been listening to Pandora because it's easier to listen to Southern Gospel and Brooklyn Tab. And I feel like God has just given me more peace. And I'm so thankful for that. A couple weeks ago, I had some really, really rough days at school, and sometimes it's really hard to deal with that and how to handle kids that aren't my own and stuff. And I just am so thankful for all the things that God has given me and all the peace that He's given me the past couple weeks, and even just the little things with this pregnancy. Yesterday, Curtis was like, "Oh, have you been feeling her move?" And I had been for several days, and then yesterday I was like, "No, not really, no big deal." And Curtis was like, "Oh no," because we're like constantly worried about stuff. And so last night, like not even an hour after he asked me about that, I felt her move, and little stuff like that, even though some people are like, "Okay, really, like that's not a big deal," but to us, it's really a big deal. And I'm so thankful that He's so faithful to us. He's faithful to me, and I'm so glad for Him providing for all of our needs. I'm so thankful for all He does for us.
Praise God. Praise God. Thank the Lord.
I'm glad I know who Jesus is. And I'm glad that He knows who I am. And He knows what's in my heart. He knows what makes me tick. He knows what upsets me. And He knows how to keep me.
Amen.
And I don't want to put Him in a box that I think that He can only do this or that, because He's all powerful. And He can go beyond where I can be, take care of issues that I cannot. And He knows what they are and how to work them out. And I love Him with all my heart, and I want to keep Him there.
Praise God.
The devil
Absolutely.
wants to pull back in and try to say, "You solve it. I'm a fixer like you, Brother Bates, but I'm worse when you're a mother." And you try to fix it, and you try to make it better. But today, I promise, Lord, you're better at this than I am, and you
Praise
have
God.
the exact answer in the exact way, the right timing that it needs to happen to show them that you did it, not mine.
That's right.
And I
Praise
just
God.
want to keep them surrendered, and I want to keep my heart too with God.
Praise God. Praise God. Brothers, thank you. Can we just close with this before we pray? Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Praise God. I want us to pray. Before we do, Curtis and Betsy, we've been there. Every parent here has gone through those emotions that are enough to drive you insane. We went through that with the twins, and we were older then, and so we worried more about stuff. I'll tell you this quick funny story. Blake said this. We were back at the house, and we had a little motorbike there, and Blake wanted to give the twins, I don't know, they were a year and a half old. He wanted to give one of them a ride on the motorbike, and I was having a cow, and he pulled up beside me and he said, "Dad, if I didn't know better, I'd say that Trey and I were adopted and Ellie and Ethan were your first kids, because you're more worried about them than you were about us." But we know all about those worries. But let me just encourage you, God is faithful. And God understands our worries, and He understands our fears, and it doesn't ever frustrate Him. It frustrates us. It does not frustrate God. He wants us to lean on Him during those times. And so you lean on Him, and we share those same worries with you. Folks, we got a lot to pray about tonight. I want us to pray earnestly about every one of these requests. Rayanne is, she's having a difficult time. She's got an infection. It's blocked her tear duct. She's got to have a procedure done. Would you pray for Rayanne tonight that God would help her? And I know this is no doubt a grief of mine to Courtney and Donald. You share my name, and I just drew up. It's, you know, I'm getting old. Forgive me. And Clark, I want us to pray that God would help them. Paula Reitel's sister, I believe it's her sister Donna, is in the hospital. She's in really bad shape, folks. I want you to pray for Donna, but I want you to pray for Paula. I know Paula's probably tuned in tonight. Paula, we're praying for you. We love you, and we're here to pray, and we're going to earnestly pray. And pray for the Catron family. I think I know them. The name sounds familiar, but let's pray for them. Let's pray for Steve Stetler's family. Steve passed away, 61 years old. Let's remember his family in prayer. I have an unspoken request tonight that I want you to pray about. Pray for Steve Powell. He's been struggling. Let's pray for him. Good to see Brother Ray tonight. Ray's been going through a tough time, but Ray, we're trusting the Lord to help you. Rod's daughter Amanda is battling COVID. Let's pray for her tonight. God would help her. There's a lady in this area. I cannot tell you her name because we're live on the air. And for privacy's sake, I was asked not to. Does not attend our church. Some of you would know her if I mention the name. This lady needs God, and she needs a physical touch. Most importantly, she needs God. So God knows this lady's name, and I want you to pray for her tonight, that God would help her. It may be an opportunity for us at some point to be able to reach out to a person who desperately needs God. And then I want us to earnestly pray for Sister Russell's son, Jeff, tonight, that God would, I got the right son, right? It's Jeff. That God would help him. Folks, there's so many people carrying heavy, heavy burdens, stress, anxiety, pressure, problems. Nothing seems normal right now, does it? Nothing does. Listen, God is still God. God is still in control. Pray for Evan and Latilda tonight. They're dealing with a situation and enough said, but let's pray for them, that God would give them wisdom and help. And as we come and pray, and I ask you to join with me here at the altar at this time, I hope that you will, I don't expect you to be able to mention all of these by name, but lift them. The Lord has heard us lift these names. And so lift them to God tonight and say, oh God, help these situations. Let's pray God will give us a good day Sunday. I'm so grateful for his help this last Sunday. I know, it's still vacation season. Let's pray for our brothers and sisters who are on vacation and who will be on vacation this weekend, that God would be with them and bless them and help them. Let's ask God to give us a good day Sunday, and let's lift these requests to the Lord tonight. Let's beg God to help us. Lord Jesus, oh God, we need you tonight. We lift all of these requests to you with burdened hearts. God, there are a lot of people who desperately need a touch from you. Oh God, we lift our voices to you in unison tonight, asking you to intervene, blessed Jesus, asking you to touch these situations, asking you to help, asking you to encourage people tonight. Lord, there are a lot of discouraged people tonight, God, that need your peace. They need you to give them peace tonight. I pray that you would, blessed Jesus. I pray that you would touch them and help them. Oh God, we pray for people in our congregation who are battling sickness and family members who are battling sickness. God, we pray for Rayanne tonight. We lift her to you, Jesus. We pray for Donna Ward tonight that you would help her. Oh, in Jesus' name, please touch her, I pray. We pray for the Catron family, Lord, that you would help them. We pray for Steve Stetler's family. God, come tonight, blessed Jesus. God, I pray for our online audience tonight that you would bless them. Encourage them tonight, Lord. Reach out to them, I pray. Oh, God, you know who's watching tonight that's on the brink of total despair. Lift them up, I pray, blessed Jesus. And encourage their hearts tonight, I pray. Oh, God, we need you tonight. We're trusting you, Jesus. We're believing you to help us. In Jesus' name, help us tonight, I pray. Oh, God, we rest in you. We look to you tonight. Blessed Jesus, thank you for a good spirit in church again tonight. Thank you, Lord, that we come to church and sit your presence. Thank you for a good season of prayer. Thank you for ministering to our hearts. Bring us back safely on Sunday, I pray. Oh God, continue to stir the hearts of your people.